What's up, peeps? We're back. As always, I'm your host, Lee Benson. Thank you so much for joining us for our YouTube edition of the AEW Insider and Wrestling News of the Week. If you hear a little background noise, please don't mind. It's the heater in the basement, and that thing's been humming the last couple of days, so sometimes it can get a little loud. Remember, if you want to win that Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse ringside collectible action figure, you got to stick around to the episode to find out how. Since it's the AEW Insider, let's kick it off with a little AEW. AEW. Now, AEW is presenting Beach Break next week, and they added a special match. After Eddie Kingston beat Archer on Dynamite, utilizing outside interference, of course, Tony Khan will even the odds for a rematch, as Eddie Kingston will face Lance Archer in a lumberjack match at Beach Break this Wednesday, February 3rd on Dynamite. That should be a good one. On the WWE. Well, it's Royal Rumble season time, and it's the kickoff to the road to WrestleMania. So right now I do have the full card that they released for the Royal Rumble this Sunday. WWE's been doing a weird thing lately where they're not even announcing the matches that are going to be on the pay-per-view. It's like, hey, watch the pay-per-view and just be surprised at who wrestles, which is a little fucked up. And like they said on Busted Open, this is the first WrestleMania that they're going to do over 2 days or 2 nights and have a live audience there. So it's not really fair to the fans because you want to know who's fighting on what night so you can buy your tickets accordingly. So let's hope they change this shit soon. So right now I do have the current full card plus some prediction matches that might happen this Sunday. We do have the Women's Royal Rumble. Now, I have no idea who's going to take this. Lacey Evans could be a factor. My baby Bayley could be a factor. But if you ask me, I think they're going to give it to the Queen Charlotte. So it does cause a rift between her and Asuka. And of course, so Vince can have her in the championship match at WrestleMania. So I'm going to go with Flair to win the Royal Rumble. We also have the Women's Tag Team Championship match. So it will be Charlotte and Asuka versus Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler. Now, when I wrote this, I did pick Asuka and Flair to win, but I think Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler are going to win because Flair's going to turn on Asuka during a match or something's going to happen and they're going to lose those belts. So Flair can win the Rumble and actually go after Asuka for her championship belt, her women's belt, not the tag team belts. But we're going to see what happens. But I'm going to go with Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. We also have the Men's Royal Rumble match. Now, I'm going to take the fanboy way out with this pick. Like many, I predict the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar will return and he will win the Rumble. So that way he can challenge Roman Reigns for his title at WrestleMania, and then Paul Heyman's going to be stuck in the middle deciding whose side he's going to take, Roman or Brock's. Braun Strowman also returned on SmackDown this week, and he's in better shape than ever, so you definitely have to keep an eye out for him because he's going to be a big factor in the Men's Royal Rumble match. But I'm going with Brock Lesnar. We also have the SmackDown Women's Championship up for grabs, which is the Boss Sasha Banks versus Carmella. Now, I would love Carmella to win this, but it's not her time again yet. She will get that belt again, but not this time. Expect Carmella's little crony to get involved in the match, but in the end, Sasha will retain. So I'm going with Sasha Banks. We have the Universal Championship Last Man Standing match, which is Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens. Now, I like KO. I always have. I liked him on the Indies, NXT, but I have not been so hot on his current gimmick as of late. He is still the man, though. Yet there is no way in hell he's taking that title off of Roman. Roman is on fire, and I honestly did not see him losing that belt until he's ready to hand it over. So I'm going with Roman Reigns. And finally, for the card right now, we do have the WWE Championship match, which is Drew McIntyre versus Goldberg. Now, this match should be decent. It's going to be quick, but it's going to be decent. I don't think anybody wants to see Goldberg win that belt right before Mania, hold it until Mania, and then lose it again. If you do, you're a legit fucking mark. I'm ready for Drew to pass that strap myself, but I feel it will happen at Mania, and it's not going to be the Goldberg. So I'm going with Drew. Now, 2 matches that are rumored to be on the card are the Intercontinental Championship match, which is Big E versus Sami Zayn. I love Sami Zayn to win, but if the match does happen, Big E will win. And you still have the United States Championship match in the mix, which is the current champ, Bobby Lashley, versus Riddle. Now, once again, I like to see Riddle win, but if the match happens, Lashley's going to win. And Lashley actually threw a little bit of shade at Riddle this week on Busted Open Radio. He was a guest, and they were saying how him and Riddle are ex-MMA fighters and all that, and they were talking about his skill or his size, and Bobby Lashley was laughing at him, which is fucked up. Now, rumors are that an ex-NXT star will make her debut on the main roster at the Rumble. Rhea Ripley is on the main roster. She was going to debut a couple weeks ago, and they put it off for a couple weeks. Well, a couple weeks is now. Debuting her as a surprise in a Rumble and winning it would be fucking awesome. Now, I know she's going to come out. She might actually make Charlotte lose, but there's no way she's going to make her roster debut and actually win the Rumble. In a couple of years, yes, but not right now. Triple H was recently a guest on a Michael Kay show. He discussed a wide range of topics. During it, he was asked whether he wants to control WWE one day. Here's what Hunter had to say. Look, for me, all of this comes down to the success of WWE. I never started this on any standpoint when I got into it. I just wanted to do it because I thought it was the greatest form of entertainment in the world, and you just want to be great at it and whatever comes along with it. As my career wound down, I realized I was just as fascinated with behind the scenes. It's irrelevant to me who's steering the ship or who's doing what. Trust me, there's plenty of work here for everybody. For me, it's all about ensuring that, and like the tagline says, then, now, and forever. This brand of entertainment that I personally consider the greatest blended form of entertainment in the world, I just hope that it continues. So to me, it's irrelevant to any of that, as long as it continues. Renee Young will make her WWE return this week. Well, kinda. She's hosting WWE Backstage on Fox for a Royal Rumble special. That's very cool that everybody got on the same page so quick and brought it back for however long it's going to be. Now, an update on John Cena for the Royal Rumble. We all know that he is going to be at WrestleMania. They've done everything except just announce it to us, but you know this is the road to WrestleMania, so they want to start building a hype for a match or whatever he's going to do now. Now, they wanted him to appear at the Royal Rumble, but unfortunately, he is filming his TV show. As you know, John Cena is playing the Peacemaker in the Suicide Squad spinoff, and they're actually filming a Peacemaker show in Canada as we speak. So due to COVID traveling restrictions, there's no way he can make it to the Rumble. Recently, The Undertaker made some comments about modern-day wrestlers. Well, Roman Reigns heard about it, and he had this to say in reply. It's strange. I really feel like he misspoke, because Mark is a really good guy. He's very knowledgeable. Obviously, he has a ton of respect for the business. Goldberg is just Goldberg, who cares? But he's talking about guns and knives in a locker room? Come on, man. You guys traveled just like we did. Did you really get that stuff through security? TSA was just letting everything happen back then? I choose to play video games sometimes on my own. I don't do it at work. As you can see, some of my character is based around that. I've always been one that networked and politicked and tried to communicate and work while I'm at work. Some guys choose to stay in a locker room, and for guys like the New Day who are uberly talented, they can get away with that. I hope the younger guys in the locker room don't fall into that because we're all not the same. I have to put my whole mind into work as I come into work on Friday. Sometimes my wife has to tell me to shut it off. She'll be like, stop, be at home, be present. Because I can't turn it off sometimes. And I think to be at the highest level of anything, you have to be borderline obsessive. So yeah, I don't always think there's room for video games in a locker room. But when you're running on a regular touring system and it's a live event and there's nowhere to go, you got kicked out of the hotel because you couldn't get the late checkout, you already hit the gym, you already picked up your food, and you're just sitting around in the locker room, I'd rather my guys be playing video games than breaking into that bag of some sort. Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor announced that they re-signed their tag team, the Bouncers, which consists of Brian Manolis and the Beer City Bruisers. So congratulations to everybody. On to Impact Wrestling. Well, Impact might be saying goodbye to one of their big stars. That is none other than ex-knockout champion Jordynne Grace. Her contract is up this May and she has not re-signed yet. She appeared at the House of Hardcore podcast and addressed the situation. Grace said, I'm just writing it out at this point. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to go on with COVID, but I'm nervous. Obviously, my contract is up in the next few months, so I don't know what's going to happen. I'm just trying to keep a job. If you ask me, tons of companies will want her. She's a beast. I think AEW would be her best fit, but I know WWE is scouting her. She should really just stay in Impact for about another 2 years and hone her skills, but we'll see what Grace is going to do. Wherever she goes, she's going to be an asset to the roster. And finally, Alex Shelley was absent at Impact's Hard to Kill pay-per-view last week. Rumors ran rampant on where he was and what happened. Come to find out, the reason was not as sinister as most thought. Shelley said, "Most days out of the week, I look like this. I read theories about why I wasn't at Impact Wrestling for Hard to Kill. They range from injury to illness to getting arrested to harming my family members and attempting to cover it up. I'm a physical therapist. Physio is my livelihood and my career. Wrestling is my livelihood and my passion project. At my company, due to the volume of sick and injured patients that we are in care of, we modified our COVID-19 mandates as needed. As numbers went up, so did restrictiveness. To circumvent the topic, I could not be at Hard to Kill due to my career. I respect the decisions made by our company, surgeons, and doctors. I look to them for advice and guidance. I'm unable to travel and wrestle until I'm vaccinated. I took every caution I could before, but I don't feel right maintaining this duality unless I take every possible safety measure. When a vaccine became available, that required extra security on my end and my company's end for our patients. I honestly don't want to get the vaccine so soon, but I want to wrestle very badly while I help people in my therapy, so there's no option. Impact Wrestling was very supportive and understanding, and as someone who doesn't have nor want a contract at this point, my hands were tied. Thank you for the support from everyone." That's pretty solid. All right, peeps, well, that's it for this episode. Remember, if you want to win that ringside collectible Bray Wyatt Firefly Funhouse action figure, all you got to do is stay right here on YouTube at the AEW Insider. Make sure you subscribe if you aren't already. Take any video, including this one, like, share, and comment. So go to the AEW on YouTube, be a subscriber, like, share, and comment on any video, and as soon as we hit 500 subs, I will be doing a random drawing and picking out a winner. Remember to show us some love on all major podcasting platforms, also on Facebook and YouTube, on the AEW Insider, and on Twitter under the AEW Insider 1, as in the number 1. As always, I'm your host, Lee Bentz. This is the AEW Insider, and thank you so much for joining us for our wrestling news of the week. Ciao, peeps.